There's a group of Americans doing some of the most important work in the country, and a lot of them are quietly going broke doing it. You usually do not see them in a dramatic headline. You see them in fragments. A woman answering a school text while sitting in a doctor's waiting room with her father. A man sending money to help his mother cover medications. Then opening a grocery app to cut his own cart back down. A couple whispering after the kids go to sleep, trying to figure out whether the next crisis belongs to their child, their parent, or their checking account. Someone leaves work early for a parent appointment, logs back in late at night, forgets to eat a real dinner, and tells everyone they are fine because that is faster than explaining the truth. These are the people in the middle. The Americans raising children, helping aging parents, managing appointments, filling medication boxes, handling paperwork, covering bills, making extra phone calls, driving extra miles, and carrying extra emotional weight so other people's lives do not fall apart. And a lot of them are falling apart financially themselves. That is the hidden group. Not hidden because they are rare. Hidden because their struggle gets mislabeled as normal adulthood. From the outside, they can look responsible, loving, dependable, even stable. Inside, a lot of them are dealing with a life stage trap that can drain savings, crush time, damage careers, and turn ordinary family duty into a private economic emergency. This is what people often call the sandwich generation. Adults caught between care flowing downward and care flowing upward at the same time. Children who need attention, money, logistics, and presence. Parents or older relatives who need help, supervision, appointments, advocacy, housing support, or direct cash. And in the middle, one person or one couple, trying to absorb both directions without breaking. The painful part is how ordinary this can look. There is no cinematic villain walking into the frame. No single giant decision that ruins everything. It is 1,000 acts of responsibility, a pickup here, a prescription there, a school fee, a repair bill, a missed shift, a weekend that becomes unpaid labor, a savings goal that gets postponed again, a vacation that becomes a medical trip, a retirement contribution that becomes groceries for 2 households, a promotion opportunity that quietly dies because somebody has to be available when the phone rings. And that is why this pressure stays invisible for so long. The people carrying it often do not sound dramatic. They sound dutiful. They say things like, "We are just helping out. We are making it work. It is a hard season. Family comes first. We will catch up later." But later has a way of not arriving. That is the real hook here. A lot of American adults are not bad with money. They are not lazy. They are not living recklessly. They are not failing to grow up. They are doing exactly what families and society tend to praise. Showing up, holding things together, putting other people first. And the reward for that can be debt, burnout, career stagnation, and the private fear that they are being slowly hollowed out by their own sense of duty. That contradiction matters because this is not a tiny niche problem. Research and reporting around the sandwich generation keeps pointing to the same picture. Millions of adults are supporting both children and aging parents at once, and many are absorbing costs in money, time, and mental strain that do not fit cleanly inside a normal household budget. The numbers matter, but even before the numbers, the feeling is recognizable. It is the feeling of always being needed, always being behind, and never being fully allowed to collapse because too many other people depend on you. And once you see that clearly, the next question becomes unavoidable. How does someone do so much essential care and still end up financially weaker because of it? Why does being the responsible one so often become the thing that pushes a household toward the edge? Because the hidden cost is not just generosity. It is that the American economy depends on this caregiving while treating it like a private side mission. And that is where the trap starts to reveal itself. If you want to understand why these caregivers are going broke, Start with one uncomfortable truth. Care does not only cost money when you buy a formal service. Care costs money even when a family provides it themselves. It just gets disguised. That disguise is one of the biggest reasons the problem stays hidden. If a household writes a check to a nursing facility, hires help, pays for after-school care, or covers transportation outright, the expense looks visible. You can point to it, it is on a bill. But when a daughter leaves work early to take her mother to appointments, when a son covers a rent gap, when a parent burns vacation days to manage a parent's recovery, when somebody wakes up at 5 a.m. to prepare 2 different lives before the workday begins, the cost does not disappear. It just moves. It moves into lost income, lost hours, lost concentration, lost advancement, lost sleep, lost savings, lost energy, lost margin. And that loss piles up in ways that are easy to underestimate because each piece can sound survivable by itself. One extra prescription is manageable. One emergency flight is painful but may be possible. 1 week of missed work can be absorbed. One child care adjustment can be figured out. 1 month of helping with groceries does not sound like financial collapse. But this life is rarely built from one event. It is built from accumulation, from constant reallocation, from living in a state where your budget is always partly yours and partly an emergency response system for everyone you love. That creates a kind of double exposure. These caregivers are often still expected to function like stable workers, active parents, reliable spouses, and financially responsible adults. But underneath that expectation, they are doing a second full-time layer of coordination that does not behave like normal household management. It behaves like crisis prevention. You are not just paying your own bills. You are monitoring your father's health changes. You are remembering the school deadline. You are helping your mother understand insurance mail. You are juggling child pickup. You are wondering if your parent can still live alone. You are recalculating whether your own kid's activity fee has to wait because an older adult in the family suddenly needs cash or care or equipment or time. This is why the phrase taking care of everyone else lands so hard, because it is not metaphorical. A lot of people really are carrying a family system on their backs. And the burden is not only emotional, it is economic. The American model tends to talk about family care like a moral duty first and a cost structure second. That sounds compassionate until you realize what it does in practice. If care is framed mostly as a family responsibility, then the family becomes the shock absorber for everything the larger system does not fully support. Too expensive to outsource, the family absorbs it. Too hard to schedule formally, the family absorbs it. Too bureaucratic to navigate alone, the family absorbs it. Too emotionally sensitive to hand off cleanly, the family absorbs it. Too underbuilt as public infrastructure, the family absorbs it. And inside the family, that usually means 1 or 2 people absorb most of it. Often women, often middle-aged adults, often people still trying to hold a career together while also parenting, often people in exactly the phase of life when they thought they might finally build financial traction. Instead, traction disappears. The raise gets neutralized by care costs. The savings habit gets eaten by recurring emergencies. The side income becomes elder support money. The weekend becomes labor. The time that could have gone to rest, planning, or relationship repair becomes logistics. And because this is framed as love, many people do not feel permitted to describe it as a system failure. They describe it as what you do, but that phrase, what you do, can hide an enormous amount of damage. Because when care is treated as a private virtue instead of shared infrastructure, the people doing it start financing society's dependence on them with their own time, health, and balance sheets. That is why the story is bigger than household stress. This is not just about feeling busy. It is about a design problem. The country benefits from millions of adults keeping children safe, older relatives supported, homes functioning and crises contained. Employers benefit. Health systems benefit. Health systems benefit. Schools benefit, whole families benefit, but the cost of making that possible is often pushed down into a few private households until those households start crack. And once that crack starts, the money story gets even harsher. Because going broke in this life stage rarely looks like one dramatic collapse. It looks like slow leakage, the kind that can keep happening for years while the person at the center still shows up smiling in public. This is where the emotional core of the story really changes. Because the hidden danger is not only that caregiving is expensive, it is that it rearranges a person's financial life while pretending not to. The obvious expenses are painful enough. Helping with housing, helping with food, helping with transportation, helping with medicine, helping with child-related costs while also covering the needs of an older adult, maybe paying for legal paperwork, maybe paying for home modifications, maybe paying for travel, maybe paying for short-term help because there is no other way to get through the week. All of that is real, but the less visible costs are often what are the deepest damage: the career slowdown, the inability to relocate for a better job, the refusal to take on a more demanding role because flexibility matters more than ambition now, the quiet habit of not investing in yourself because somebody else's needs always feel more urgent, the long periods of financial drift that come from constantly switching from planning mode into response mode. That drift matters because financial stability is usually built from consistency, regular contributions, compounding, career momentum, predictable capacity. But caregiving in the middle years can shred consistency. It forces households into reactive economics. You stop asking, how do we build the next 5 years? And start asking, how do we get through this month without dropping somebody? That shift changes everything. The household can still look decent on paper. There may still be income. There may still be a mortgage payment getting made. There may still be birthdays and school pictures and normal-looking weekends mixed in. But underneath, reserves are thinning. Debt may be creeping upward. Retirement may be stalling. Marriage strain may be rising. Health may be slipping. The person doing the most caregiving may be living with a permanent background panic that never becomes dramatic enough. And here is the part that has to be handled carefully. The point is not to blame children for needing care. It is not to blame aging parents for aging. It is not to blame families for wanting to help their own people. And it is not to shame anyone who cannot do more. This is not a story about individual moral failure. It is a story about structural dependence hiding inside private love. That anti-blame framing matters because these videos can go wrong fast if they imply somebody in the family is the bird. That is not the truth. The burden is the unsupported structure around the care. But the burden is how much labor, coordination, and money can be required to keep ordinary family life humane. The burden is how completely essential this work is, and how often the people doing it are expected to absorb the damage silently. Think about the impossible trade-offs embedded in this life. If you scale back at work, you may protect your family but weaken your future. If you do not scale back, you may keep the paycheck but risk dropping something critical at home. If you spend more on formal help, you may buy time but blow up the budget. If you do not spend more, you may preserve cash while sacrificing sleep, health, and stability. If you help your parent more, your child may get less of you. If you protect your child's routine more, your parent may become less safe. There is no clean lane through this. That is why so many caregivers feel guilty no matter what they choose. And the economy has a way of making that guilt even more punishing. People in this phase are often old enough to have serious responsibilities, but not always wealthy enough to outsource them. They are expected to be in peak earning years while also entering peak caregiving years. That collision is brutal. It means the exact season when many households hope to catch up, when they save harder or stabilize, can become the season when they leak the most money and lose the most time. So yes, some adults in this hidden group are carrying debt. Some are skipping their own care. Some are delaying retirement savings. Some are shrinking their ambitions to match the emergencies around them. Some are staying in jobs they do not want because flexibility beats salary. Some are lying to themselves that once one problem settles, the rest of life will come back. But for many, it is not one problem. It is a stack. A child with needs, or a parent with needs, a job with demands, a budget with no slack, a culture that praises sacrifice, and a system that keeps converting that sacrifice into private depletion. That is the deeper reveal. These caregivers are not going broke because they are irresponsible. A lot of them are going broke because they are functioning as unpaid, under-supported infrastructure for everyone else. They are the backup system, the SEMO. They are the backup system, the transport network, the scheduler, the advocate, the account manager, the emotional regulator, the emergency fund. And the scariest part is how normal this can be made to feel. When a whole society leans on invisible care, the people providing it can start to think their own exhaustion is just a personality flaw, that their money problems are just bad planning, that their resentment means they are ungrateful, that their burnout means they are weak. It does not. It means they are carrying too much with too little support. Once you see that, the title lands differently. The hidden American group going broke while taking care of everyone else is not hidden because nobody knows caregiving. It is hidden because the full cost gets broken into private pieces and scattered across millions of households until one family loses advancement, another loses savings, another loses sleep, another loses a marriage margin, another loses time with their own children because so much attention is flowing upward and outward. Another loses the ability to imagine a future that feels bigger than management. Each story looks personal. Together, they describe a system. And the system-level truth is this: America depends on informal caregivers far more than it honestly admits. It depends on them to keep elders out of worse crises, to keep children covered, to keep appointments made, to keep households functioning, to keep workforces appearing stable, to keep emotional collapse from becoming public collapse. A huge amount of social stability is being produced inside kitchens, cars, waiting rooms, pharmacies, bedrooms, and late-night budgeting sessions. But because that work is dispersed and intimate, it is easy to pretend it is merely private. That is the trick. Something can be absolutely essential and still be treated as if it is just a personal choice. And when that happens, the people doing the essential work end up paying for the collective benefit with their own lives. That is why so many caregivers do not just feel tired. They feel erased. The work counts. We're erased, the work counts. The beliker. But often only when it fails. If they keep everything barely upright, the world calls that normal. If they drop something, suddenly everyone notices there was a system there all along. So the final payoff is not that these households simply need better budgeting discipline or more resilience. The final payoff is that the pressure they feel is rational. Of course, it feels impossible. They are being asked to carry 2 generations worth of obligation inside one household economy. They are being asked to supply time that does not exist, patience that does not renew itself automatically, and money that was already assigned to a different future. And still many of them keep going. That is the heartbreaking part. The same people being drained by the system are often the people making the system survivable for everybody else. They are not failing at adulthood. They are overperforming inside a structure that counts on their sacrifice and then acts surprised when they cannot do it. So if you know someone in this stage of life, or you are in it yourself, the first useful thing to understand is this: the struggle is not proof that you are weak, selfish, or bad at managing life. It may be proof that too much essential care has been pushed into the private sphere without enough support, enough margin, or enough honesty about what it really costs. These are the Americans holding together children, parents, and whole families at the same time. And a lot of them are quietly going broke, not because they are careless, but because they are carrying labor that everybody depends on and almost nobody fully prices. That is the hidden group. And the hidden part was never their importance. It was how much they were being asked to lose while taking care of everyone else.